let's talk. How far did you dive into the Suicide Squad and the Polka-Dot Man comic history for background to that upcoming film?
I mean, all that I could get my hands on, all of it. And I had, as you know, I'm a lifelong. I mean, the last time I saw you, I think in person, was at a comic book shop.
Exactly.
You know how much I love my comics.
Right.
And so my collection of the Suicide Squad, I wasn't a big collector of the series, but I was very familiar with the book and the characters. And I knew that there had been different iterations of what that meant to the DC pantheon, going back to like the early Task Force X stuff, where it was more just not necessarily superhumans, to the world of the Ostrander comics, where you take a Dirty Dozen and you get this group of misfit screw ups who are trying to eat time off of their prison sentences, and you say, all right, go take a shot at helping us with this thing, and if you do a good job, we'll take some time off your sentence, and if you screw up, we'll blow you up. You know, it's like it's so perfect. And so that, you know, and with Polka-Dot Man, he's only appeared in comics over the last 50 years, maybe a handful of times.
Almost.
Yeah. My stunt man who I met on The Dark Knight in Chicago, he was my stunt double on The Dark Knight in Chicago, and we've been friends and worked together ever since. His name's Adam Hart.
Crazy.
Adam got me a original appearance of Polka-Dot Man in Detective Comics. I believe it's from the late 50s, maybe early 50s. Anyway,
his first appearance I read was in 1962.
62. So he got me that, which was such a gift when I booked the role. I mean, it was such a cool gift. So then I went and found, here's a funny story though. I went and found a few more because I wanted to have one to give to my friend and attorney who helps me kind of run my business.
Yeah.
But after, you know, James, this movie was announced, and that it was harder and harder to find anything.
Yes.
Polka-Dot Man.
Well, you know, he makes an appearance also, I read on the Wikipedia page, in the last issue of Batman 66.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And he's in Gotham PD as well as the drunk loser at the bar that, like, he doesn't even have any gusto left at all. He's trying to rob somebody and he just gets the crap beat out of him by Harvey Dent. He's in the Lego Bat. My son knew who Polka-Dot Man was because there's a joke about him in Lego Batman movie. And my kids, as you can well imagine, always think it's cool that I get to be in anything superhero adjacent or related or connected. But
so
they think it's so cool.
So let's talk about James Gunn. If you can just say one word to describe each of them, what would that word be and why would you choose that word?
James is a mastermind.
Okay, great, beautiful word.
His brain and the way he sees not only film, but the world is, for lack of a better term, evolved. He's in a lot of ways like a superhero. A lot of ways, actually. He's a human. He's a person. We're all humans. We're all flawed. We're all whatever. But that guy blows me away more than most anybody else I've ever known, with not only his art, but who he is as a person, like the depth of his love for people and earth and animals, and just his
beautiful man.
His emotional evolution is incredible. But as an artist, he's a mastermind. I feel like he sees things in the way the rest of us don't. And he can put pieces together in a way the rest of us could never imagine.
Okay, you've been in blockbusters, you've been in micro-budget independent films. What is always, or maybe surprisingly similar between the two levels when playing in the sandbox as a film actor?
It's the similarity that's always shocking to me. It's that whether I'm on a $150 million movie or a $1.5 million movie or a $150,000 movie, when the director has vision and passion and confidence in that vision and passion, it is magic is always potentially on the tips of our fingers. And I watch it happen with James Gunn being on a film that had more special effects, more practical explosions, more, giant things happening than any film probably ever made. And I saw him still having that in the moment art, his creative function was in full swing. His confidence in his vision, his artistic vision, his dream, it was so, and yes, he planned everything to a T, but he was always in the moment, ready for the discovery. And then being in Chicago, on the streets of Chicago with Colin, making a movie like Animals, where we didn't even know what was going to happen with the cars and the traffic and the things that we had no control over, and knowing that he had a vision and knew what we needed the scene to be. Both of those circumstances are conductors for the same kind of kinetic magic that is possible.
Okay. Like the EGOT, there are specific club of actors who have been in the MCDCU. That's right, both universes. Do you notice a different atmosphere between the two universes when comparing their movie sets? Is there a difference?
There's no difference between that I can speak to. What I can say is every director's set is special. And I've been so fortunate to be on a Christopher Nolan set, functioned in a certain way that was intense. And of course, it was my first time being on a film set, so I was in a state of kind of shock constantly. But it was intensely focused on achieving a lot that we had to do physically and storytelling wise. And then I got to spend the most time after that with Peyton Reed on set, because I've done 2 films with him, and his approach was always fiercely creative and imaginative, which I liked. He wanted us to be as true to the script and what he had prepared as possible to start the day. Mm-hmm. And then he would always start to peel back and step back and start to allow that to grow and go into different directions. And when you have someone like Paul Rudd working, Peyton wisely would let him go where the impulse would lead, and Peyton would guide from the side and shape it. It was so much fun. And I think that is part of the Marvel way, where they work really hard on these scripts and they get there on the day and they try and assemble the most talented group they can and allow magic to happen. And then on a DC film with James Gunn, it's just a James Gunn film. I mean, I don't know if it's a DC film at all. It's a James Gunn film, and it's its own thing. It's why he is the best person to have made the Suicide Squad. It's why he is what he's done for big film in the last 10 years is vital. And so yeah, I will say though, for me, as a lifelong comic collector, Marvel always had my favorite heroes. DC always had my favorite villains. So think about this, Patrick. I was in the DC movie, The Dark Knight, where I was with the villains. Then I went over to Marvel and I got to play with the heroes. Now I'm back to DC and I'm playing with the bad guys again. How cool is that? And also, not to mention, I don't know if you've seen this, it just got announced, but I am the voice of the Calendar Man in the Long Halloween animated feature. So I'm in the DC universe in that. And then for Marvel, I'll be in their animated series, What If, reprising my role as Kurt again. Yes.
This is Patrick McDonald for HollywoodChicago.com. Copyright 2021.